Hey Cowboys Nation, let's go for another round of news from America's team. Watch until the end so you don't miss any news and sign up to stay tuned for everything that comes out about the Cowboys.
Cowboys' CeeDee Lamb gets brutally honest on facing hostile Bills crowd. The Dallas Cowboys are starting to find their groove. After a big win against division rivals Philadelphia Eagles, the Cowboys have a chance to take control of the NFC East. However, before that, Dallas needs to overcome their biggest issue this season, the road schedule. The Cowboys are a perfect 7-0 at home, in front of the passionate Dallas fanbase. However, on the road, Dallas is just a measly 3-3. With games against the Buffalo Bills and the Miami Dolphins away from home, they'll need to figure out a way to win in such tough environments. Star WR CeeDee Lamb emphasized that the Cowboys need to march to the beat of their own drum against the Bills in Buffalo, per Kevin Patra. I feel like we've got to bring our own music, Cowboys receiver CeeDee Lamb said Thursday, via the team's official website. We're going to be in a hostile environment, so we're not going to get as much praise for making big plays, so we've got to make that the new norm. We've got to stick to our script, continue to play, make routine plays and score touchdowns. The Bills fanbase is one of the most passionate fanbases in the league, right up there with Cowboys and Eagles fans. With Buffalo fighting for their playoff lives, Dallas needs to expect a playoff-level atmosphere. Buffalo is also coming off a hard-fought win against the Kansas City Chiefs. Dallas, on the other hand, won their last game against the Eagles in dominant fashion. The Cowboys have been on fire as of late, but can they keep that flame going against another tough opponent? Dak Prescott credits Cowboys' brotherhood for MVP emergence. Plenty has already been written about the MVP case that could be made for Dallas Cowboys quarterback Dak Prescott, but not much has been said by Prescott as to why he's emerged as the MVP frontrunner as we enter Week 15 of the 2023 NFL season. Even though Doc never uttered those three letters, he said plenty about what makes this Cowboys team so much different than any of the ones he's been on in the past. Camaraderie, the brotherhood, the goofiness of being able to flip that switch, lock in, be accountable to one another and play at a high level is what's special about that group in there, Prescott said, per Garrett Podale of CBS Sports. Guys are more disciplined, guys are being accountable to it. Not just saying, we got this brotherhood, that's our strength. But rather like, it's our strength because of what I do, so I got to make sure I do my job. I got to make sure I stay committed to my role. Dak Prescott has clearly done his job and stayed committed to his role. Before the season, Prescott claimed he wouldn't throw double-digit interceptions again, and at this point in the season, Doc's 28-6 touchdown-to-interception ratio is the best in the NFL. He's also first in passing touchdowns, second in passer rating, and fourth in passing yards. The most important stat of all: the Cowboys are 10-3, tied for the best record in the NFL. And for Doc, that last stat is what matters most. We're winning games, first and foremost, Prescott said. As I've talked about, what I play is for at the end of the year, one of the last teams, and being the last team standing, winning the Super Bowl. But obviously if I'm named in those MVP talks, then we're putting ourselves in the right spot. For me, it's about continuing to do whatever I can to put this team in the best position, get that guy, CeeDee Lamb, the ball and just win games. The rest will take care of itself. Not that it matters because my vote is as real as the New England Patriots' chances of winning the Super Bowl this year, but at this point in the season, Dak Prescott would have my vote to win the NFL MVP award. I haven't seen a quarterback who has played as well consistently, or whose 2023 season feels as high as Dak Prescott's, and with a win over Philadelphia last week, the Cowboys seem to prove that this year might just be a little bit different in Big D. The Dallas Cowboys could be in the market for a new running back this offseason. Both Tony Pollard and Rico Dowdle will hit free agency in 2024. Their uncertain futures has prompted plenty of Cowboys rumors about potential replacement options. Bleacher Report's Joe Tanzi floated a couple possible options, including Miami Dolphins running back Raheem Mostert. The veteran is coming off a career year already posting 18 total touchdowns with 4 games remaining this season. Tansy ponders if Miami would be willing to move Mostert for a day 2 or day 3 draft pick. The Dolphins also have Devon Achane, who could gain more touches without Mostert. Raheem Mostert is an older but less expensive option to consider on the running back trade market, Tansy detailed in a December 13, 2023 article titled, Hypothetical Trades Cowboys Must Consider in 2024 NFL Offseason. The Miami Dolphins may be willing to make Devon Achane their number 1 running back in the offseason, and that could limit carries for the 31-year-old Mostert. Mostert showed throughout the season that he has not lost a step yet despite his age. The Cowboys could send a day 2 or 3 draft pick to Miami for Mostert, who is only scheduled to make $2.3 million next season, per Spotrac. Tansy continues. Dallas could replicate exactly what Miami is doing this season with Mostert and Achane. The Cowboys could select a late-round running back and hope he develops under Mostert as they look to find their stars of the future. Miami Dolphins RB Raheem Mostert is on a team-friendly 2-year, $5.6 million contract. There could be some sell high thought for the Dolphins front office. Yet, would it be worth a mid-round pick for Miami to lose Mostert's production? Mostert is also on a team-friendly 2-year, $5.6 million contract. The running back will have $3.3 million cap hit in 2024, more than reasonable given his level of production. Heading into Week 15, Mostert has 183 carries for 924 rushing yards and 16 touchdowns. Mostert also added 22 receptions for 170 yards and 2 TDs through the air. Will the Dallas Cowboys draft a running back instead of re-signing Tony Pollard? It is easy to see why this type of a deal would be appealing to the Cowboys. Dallas would land one of the NFL's top running backs with a $3.3 million cap hit for 2024. It still feels unlikely the Dolphins would want to deal one of their top offensive producers. Regardless, Dallas faces a decision at running back as the team is unlikely willing to spend $10 million for one player at the position in 2024. Pollard is playing on the $10 million franchise tag this season. The playmaker has had some inconsistencies this season but is starting to round into form. Pollard has scored 3 touchdowns in the last 4 games. Dallas could attempt to bring Pollard back on a more reasonable deal. The most affordable option for the Cowboys is to use an early draft pick on a running back who could be the potential starter. Dallas has several key players heading for contract extensions, including Dak Prescott, CeeDee Lamb and Micah Parsons. The Cowboys will be forced to part with some players if Dallas wants to keep the core intact. Cowboys kicker Brandon Aubrey said he could hit a field goal from how long? On November 8, 1970, New Orleans Saints kicker Tom Dempsey trotted out onto the field and famously hit a 63-yard game-winning field goal. The field goal was not only historic because of the distance, but also because Dempsey, a right-footed kicker, was born without toes on his right foot. It took 28 years for a kicker, Jason Elam, to equal Dempsey's mark, another 15 years to break it, Matt Prater's 64-yard field goal in 2013, and then 8 more years before Justin Tucker hit a 66-yard game winner versus the Detroit Lions. And even Justin Tucker, one of the most accurate and powerful kickers in the history of the league, barely got it through the uprights. It seemed as if we had finally hit the upper limit of what was possible from a kicker in an NFL game, but Cowboys kicker Brandon Aubrey doesn't see it that way. Brandon Aubrey is a 28-year-old rookie kicker who has become one of the Cowboys' best players overnight. After spending nearly a decade of his life playing high-level soccer, Aubrey decided to give place kicking a try. He spent 2 seasons in the USFL before landing on the Cowboys roster this year, where he's been better than anyone could have imagined. Aubrey has hit all 30 of his field goal attempts and made 39 of 42 extra point attempts. And now Aubrey, whose season long is 60 yards, claims that you could tack on another 10 yards and he'd be fine. I can hit 70, Aubrey said confidently this week, per Diana Rossini of The Athletic. And for clarification, this was not Aubrey saying that he could hit from 70 yards out in warm-ups or in practice. Aubrey believes a 70-yard field goal is realistic in a game. Field goals are generally an afterthought within the flow of an NFL game, But you better believe Twitter, or X, whatever, will be going bonkers if Aubrey actually manages to connect from 70 yards out in a game.